Everybody, welcome back to the Smrack. This is Mars here. Today we're going to be celebrating Keith Pollard. Now, Keith Pollard was very unique, an African American artist who successfully was on three comic book titles in Marvel simultaneously. These are some of the big hitters: The Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Thor in the late 70s and early 80s. He has some very iconic covers that we've seen throughout, and I know that I used to look at myself and I kind of love some of them. Didn't know who he was until I was informed by our man Petey and Cal themselves. But yeah, he is definitely a talent that sometimes goes unnoticed by others. He has won. He's the Inkpot Award. He has worked for both Marvel and DC. So hey, let's get into a little bit of a background about Keith Pollard so people know who he is and what he's done throughout his time. Um, like I said, he's a comic book artist. He's originally from Detroit, Michigan. Hey, Detroit. He's like I said, he was professionally debuted his work in 1974 with stints on titles such as Master of Kung Fu, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Astonishing Tales. Um, in the mid 70s, he also drew original covers for some of the weekly titles in the Marvel UK imprint. He was a regular penciler of the Amazing Spider-Man from 186, November 1978, through issue number 205, June 1980, and penciled the backup feature in Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 15, 1981. With Marv Wolfman, Pollard introduced the Black Cat, of course, very popular character in the Amazing Spider-Man universe. In Amazing Spider-Man number 194 was July 1979. Wolfman and Pollard were the creative teams for both Fantastic Four 200, that was in November 1978, and the Amazing Spider-Man number 200, January 1980. Pollard was also the regular penciler for the Thor issues from 286 to 320. That's one of the areas that I definitely like with Thor. We have some other issues with Thor, which I was not crazy about. But in 1902, Pollard moved to DC Comics, where he drew part of the Wonder Woman 300. That was February 1983, and launched the Vigilante story, one of my favorites with Marv Wolfman. He and Elliot S. Maggin co-created Kristen Wells' version of Superwoman in a DC Comics Present Annual number 2 in 1983. In 1987, he returned to Marvel, where he had a second run on Fantastic Four with Steve Englehart that lasted until 89. Afterwards, he penciled Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2 to 10, and Pollard and Stanley produced The Silver Surfer, the Enslaver graphic novel in 1990. In the early 1990s, all the characters profiled for the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Master Edition. He was the one who drew that. Pollard left comics in '96, though he definitely made occasional appearances. Um, he returned to comics in 2019 with a story for the DC Primal Age Giant, written by Marv Wolfman. So again, of course, we all know Marv Wolfman for some of his seminal works, the DC that he's worked with DC and in Marvel. From the Titans to so. I just wanted to just give a big shout out to our man Keith Pollard, who, again, like I said, he doesn't get the type of recognition that he should, especially writing the amount of drawing, the amount of stories and characters that he's done before. Just to name a few, some of the stuff that he's been involved with. He's been involved also, like I said, Wonder Woman and Milestone Media. He also was in he did Hardware number 20, he did Heroes number 6, and Static number 40 as he is the artist. If you like Harvey Comics, he did Sequest. He also worked on Alpha Flight 127, like you said before, Amazing Spider-Man 186 to 205, Astonishing Tales 30 to number 32, Avengers, he did Avengers, Black Goliath, I was trying to say Daredevil, he worked on Daredevil, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which I said before, Eternals, Fantastic Four, Ghost Rider, he did an issue for that. Wasn't a big Hulk, did one Hulk, did a couple of the Inhumans. He worked on Iron Man on and off. Jungle Action, of course, one issue back in '76. That's issue 24. Graphic novel, so the Enslaver, which we talked about before. Master of Kung Fu, of course. Moon Knight, he did an issue. Ms. Marvel. Nick Fury. Of course, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. They had him handling that. So he did issue number 4 of X-Men versus Avengers, or was involved in this. So, and all these, he didn't necessarily do all of them by himself, but he definitely was involved in many of them. But just wanted to just say, hey, this is just to give more people out there who really want to get into art, that hey, there are heroes there that you can look forward to, and say, hey, that's somebody like me that I can possibly do this myself. And he doesn't necessarily have to be like you, but you can like his art and you can like the things that he did and say, hey, this is what I want to emulate. This is what I want to do when I grow up. But again, I said some classic covers that I remember, and the team also remembers. So hey, continue taking a look at a montage of some of the covers that he's done, and I hope you like what you see. Give me a thumbs up, comment, and if you like Spinner Rack, join us. Spinner Rack, out.